Okay, observe your inputs. The ecosystem module. Okay, this is where we are. We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. Let me repeat that. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. Your inputs are shaping you whether you are watching or not. Okay, this just shows us where we are through the week. Build the habit. We've been working on building that creative creating that building habit since day one. But I'll try to put we'll either start next Monday with that one, or I'll put it in on my YouTube channel and you can just watch it at your convenience. We'll see. Okay, so observe your inputs. This is very important for us these days with social media and every TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Okay, the problem is most people have never actually looked at what they consume. On day one, you mapped your ecosystem from memory. Remember? Who influenced you, what you read, and where you spend your time. Today, we test that map against reality, because what you think you consume and what you actually consume are almost always different. There's a gap between what you believe you have and the one that you actually have. And that gap of those ecosystems, what you have, what you think you have ecosystem-wise, and what you actually have, is the most important thing a creative thinker does. Okay, 4 things to actually look at. Now, what you think you consume, what you can actually do. I want you to pull out your phone and check if you have to. And you can do this on your phone. You can check your screen time. Screen time and attention. Where does your attention actually go? What is your most used app this week, and does it feed your creativity or drain it? The last 10 things you consumed. Number 2, what have you actually read, watched, or listened to? How many of the last 10 things you consumed came from outside your own field? Who you actually talked to? Who are the last 10 people you had a substantive conversation with? Does everyone on your list think roughly the same way you do? And your algorithms. This one's important. What has your behavior trained your feeds to show? And if an outsider were to look at your algorithms, what would it tell them about you? The echo chamber, I love this. Creatives, the echo chamber is our enemy, the quiet enemy. What an echo chamber does, it confirms what you already believe. So you feel smart without being challenged. It narrows the range of problems you can see. You only notice what your inputs have tried to train you to notice. It makes your ideas feel more original than they are. Because everyone around you is working from the same source references. It kills serendipity. That's what I hate. The unexpected encounter with an idea that changes everything. Serendipity is awesome, and that's needed more in our lives. The warning signs in your own ecosystem are high warnings. You rarely encounter an idea that genuinely surprises you. Think about that. You rarely encounter an idea that genuinely surprises you. How can you get out of that? How can you start looking for things that surprise you and make you curious, make you want to learn more and different? Okay, the next warning sign is, this is a high one. Your inputs are all from the same field, decade, or culture. It's very important to look at history. It's very important to look at culture and what's going on today. I mentioned in one, I think I mentioned, I've done so many videos lately, but where the domains cross, you know, the Met Gala was, they did an artist and a fashion designer work together. And it was like, you know, fashion designers always think that they're artists, but we consider them designers. And to see all the dresses that they came up with was just remarkable, right? Okay, I think I was looking at your inputs. Let me get back on task. Okay, the moderate, the people you talk to mostly agree with you. That's good, but it's good to challenge it. If you know, you don't want to always be surrounded with people that you know, agree with you, because you're not going to grow very much. A lot of times these people are people that you work with. They're not really the people that you choose to, you know, they're not like your group, your tribe. Okay, another moderate is you can predict what your feeds will show about you. I think my face is covering up that last slide. And worth noting, you haven't read a book. You haven't read a book outside of your field. Something to think about, right? And next is the journal prompt. I want you to run your own input audit. So you're going to use your phone. Let me make a note of this. I have to add it to the assignments. You're going to use your phone, your browser history, or your Spotify, whatever gives you the real data, not memory, but the real data. I know that every week I get a thing on my iPhone and it says you have spent this much time on your phone, and these are the apps that have taken up this much time, this much, you know, it breaks it down. Okay, then I want you to answer honestly. What does your actual screen time reveal about where your attention really goes? Look at the last 10 things you finished consuming. How diverse are they? Across fields, cultures, formats, and perspectives. Are you in that echo chamber? What are 3 clearest warning signs in your own ecosystem? Some of these might be hard, but you got to do it. What is the one input you are going to deliberately interrupt this week? And what will you replace it with? What could that be? Instead of picking up your phone right when you wake up, you could give yourself, I don't know, an hour and maybe read a newspaper. Do they make newspapers anymore? I mean, yeah, they do, but you know, that's just an example. One thing that I've done is I've tried to not pick up my phone for the first few hours that I wake up, because they say that when you pick up your phone, it's like walking into a boardroom or like a classroom, and all of a sudden everything's in your face at once. Everything's due. Everybody's talking to you. You're needed everywhere. There are pop-ups going. It's just really unhealthy for you, and it's a big stress, puts a big stress on your brain. So I've, you know, after I read that article, I thought, you know, I need to leave my phone off and give myself some chill time to wake up. I have my coffee, I walk my dogs, then I feed my dogs, and then I sit down with the computer. And it's not really doom scrolling. It's more of redoing lectures because the audio is garbled, or, you know, grading or something like that. So be kind to yourself when you wake up, and know that that's important. Okay, let me see what I missed. I think after writing, share the most surprising thing your audit revealed. I want you guys to be honest about this too. No one's judging. There's no right or wrong. I have had a few students say, oh, brain dumping was so hard because I had to worry about, I was thinking about grammar, or, I couldn't think about what I wanted to do for the day. And really, when you're brain dumping, it's just like whatever comes to your mind, whatever you hear. Luckily my dogs are not barking right now. I have 7 of them. And if one makes a noise, they all bark. They're all rescue dogs, by the way. Adopt, don't shop. Okay, let's get on to the next slide. I'm sorry I get derailed, you guys. Okay, your creative activity. Okay, you've seen what's there. Now redesign it deliberately and specifically. Okay, so what do you mean by that? The stop, start, and keep list. I want you to do a 15-minute timer. I'm not there with you, so I've just got to trust that you're doing your timer, right? Okay, make 3 lists. 1, you're going to do a stop list. One input you'll reduce or eliminate, not because it's bad, but because it crowds out other better inputs. A start, 1 specific new input from outside your field. I want you to name it specifically. A title, a person, and a source, right? Keep the 1 input you're most grateful for and why. That's round 1. Round 2 is the input swap. Now this is where it gets kind of crazy. I can group you up, and I think I've tried to do that in this. Pair up across fields. Each person shares their start commitment. Your partner's job, push back on whether it's different enough. If it's too adjacent, if a business student new input is another business book, challenge them to go further. How unrelated can you get while still being genuinely useful? So with this, I'm hoping that this group meeting, making you guys up into groups, I'm hoping that it will work good. If it doesn't, we'll creatively solve it when we get to it, okay? That's what this class is about. Okay. I will do this as a discussion. What was the biggest gap between the ecosystem you thought you had and the one you actually have? I am trusting that you guys are going to do enough research and mind mapping and honesty to see the difference between the two and to share them with me. And maybe, if it's a discussion, if you're open to sharing it with the classmates as well. If you want, I can make it anonymously. Your discussion's anonymous if you would like. I don't know. Okay, so what does the gap tell you about the ideas you might be missing? Remember, it's not just what we have and what we're looking at. I really want you to look at that gap that's missing in your ecosystem. And that's like a lifetime thing, right? So you're learning a lot in this 7-week course, but I'm hoping that these concepts we're talking about are really going to stick with you, and you're going to be able to use them when you're in a group setting for work, when you're trying to make family decisions, when you're trying to decide what couch you want, how you want to put your how you want your kitchen to be laid out, all this kind of stuff. Me and my husband just built a new house, and he's a graphic designer. He's very different from me. We're total different domains. He does computer stuff all day, and I am a fine artist, and so I work in my studio. So when we come together and we have to make decisions, we do it very differently. But instead of it being a fight, we get creative with it and decide, like, yes, this is how we want it to work. Or we have ideas that this is going to work and this way is going to work. And then we share ideas and we get excited about them. So just when you're thinking, like, what the heck, why am I learning all of this? It's a process. A few of you have used that word throughout your your projects you've turned in, and I love that because life is a process. Okay, we're going on almost over 15 minutes. Sorry about that. I want your takeaway to be: you can't change what you can't see. Now you can see it, right? Most people let their inputs happen to them. They consume by default, not by design. From today, you consume by choice, and that's an awesome thing. 48-hour challenge check-in on day 5, okay? Don't forget your commitment.